Hey guys, sorry for this. Sometimes I think of something that I'm really passionate about that really usually it's something that upsets me a little bit. And I ramble in my mind about things I want to say and tell you guys, and I kind of add it to my to-do list to do when I don't look like this. And when that happens, I usually don't get around to it. So I just want to take a couple minutes because there's something that makes me a little sad. And I think there's a lack of information around this topic. So I just want to take a few minutes to talk about it. So what I would like to talk about is socialization of your dog when they are, for the most part, under 1 year of age. Fear impact periods, communication, and how to make sure those things are done safely and effectively. So the first thing that I think I need to say is that dogs are not just born with an innate knowledge of how to communicate with other dogs. Just like human babies aren't born knowing how to communicate. We learn words, we learn body language. Of course we have baseline communication, but our communication skills develop and grow as we age. The same is true with dogs. Dogs learn body language and communication styles by being exposed to other dogs. So that's important. If you take your dog and you put them in a room for 2 or 3 years and then you take them to the park, they're probably not going to do as well as you would like. That doesn't mean that they're going to get in a fight or be bad or have trouble, but they're not going to know what's going on. They're not going to know how to interact. I know we've probably all read stories of, children or people who go through horrific abuse and that happens to them where they're not sent to school or they're not exposed to other people. And even when they're found years later, they're not able to catch up on some of that communication. Sometimes depending on when the abuse started, they may not be able to learn language or their language may be very stunted. The same thing is true with dogs. We have windows for when they are learning best and when we can expose them to things. So it's so important that your dog gets good, safe socialization as soon as you can, as soon as it's safe to do so. Another thing, I say safe. I am not suggesting that everybody run out and put their dog in daycare or everybody run out and take their dog to the dog park. So let's talk about fear impact periods. There are a couple developmental stages where your dog is more vulnerable to scary things having a lasting impact. And these can be things that they may have been exposed to at another point in their life, but if they weren't in this fear impact period, doesn't necessarily leave a long-lasting impact. But if a dog is in a fear impact period and they are exposed to something that is scary, it can be with them forever. They can develop a phobia. So if your dog is in a situation, whether that be a daycare, a dog park, your backyard, and there is something that is really scary to them, it can change the way they approach that situation moving forward. So if they have a fight with a dog, if they're hurt somehow, shock collars, your dog, I don't know, does something naughty and you send a shock to the collar, but it maybe at that moment that it's shocked, it sees a red car driving by. If your dog is on that fear impact period and they in their mind associate that red car that drove by with them getting pain, they may be scared of cars. We never know. Like you may not know exactly how something's going to impact your dog. So one of the things that's really important is to advocate for our dogs. We are their voice and we need to make sure that they're being taken care of. So yes, it's very important to take your dog out to get them exposed to other dogs and to people and to different situations. But it's also scary because if you take your dog someplace or you allow your dog to be in a situation that may not be as controlled as you would like and they are traumatized, that's a real thing. So you would never, if you think of having a human child and you're looking for daycare socialization for your human child and you go someplace and they say, go ahead and put little Becky in that room over there. There are 40 other children in that room. They range in age from 1 to 7 and we don't have any grown-ups in there. They'll be fine. Go ahead and drop little whatever I said the kid's name was, little Becky off, you would run away. There's no way. You want me to put little Becky in a room with 40 kids that range in age from 1 to 7? That sounds horrible. Because it is. And it's also not necessarily a great place for your dog to be, with 40 or 50 or 60 or 100 other dogs that range in age and play style and things like that. When we are looking for a safe place for our human children, we usually look for someplace that will have small groups so that our kids are paid attention to. We usually are looking for a place where they are with other children their age. That's usually pretty important. And we're usually looking for some place that has trained professionals that know something about child development. These are the same things that you should really be paying attention to when you're taking your dog places. And I guess the reason this has kind of been bothering me this evening, the reason that at 8 p.m. I'm making this video instead of eating my sandwich, is because I've got some dogs here who have been here before, and when they were here before, they were fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Did great in playgroup. It's been some time. I don't honestly know how long, 8 months, a year, something. They're back for boarding. Not as great. I've had to pull a dog out of playgroup a couple times because some behavioral issues. The dog's not a bad dog. My guess, and I don't know, my guess is that the dog's probably not been exposed to a lot of other dogs. She probably doesn't really know how to interact, so her interactions are not really, in dog language, they're rude. In dog language, she's being very rude, and the other dogs are not appreciating that. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad because this is a great dog. This is a great dog who's been here before. And now I can't put her in playgroup with the other dogs. And if I do try playgroup, I have to be very, very careful about which dogs I attempt an introduction with. And it's taking more of my time for this one dog, which is fine. That's why we have small groups. That is why Arch City does not accept a lot of dogs, so that I have the time to do this and to be with those dogs. But we can only have so many of those dogs. If all 12 dogs who are here can't go in playgroup and have trouble, oh my goodness. But it makes me sad. And I really feel like it's important for me to tell you guys that your dog needs to be socialized, even if it's once a week or every other week or whatever that may be. But I also want to tell you about fear impact periods. I don't want you to throw your dog in some shady daycare or a dog park with no regulation, with owners who don't know any more about dog communication than, you know, any average person. And then dogs get traumatized and don't do well with dogs, or don't have exposure and don't do well with dogs. So that's my little rant for the day. Dogs need socialization so they can learn to communicate. Please be aware of the fear impact period. Please make sure that when your dog is in a fear impact period, you are aware and making sure that they are safe and taking precautions to make sure that they are exposed to safe things and safe situations. Please make sure that the people that you are leaving your dog with or places that you're taking your dog are educated and know about dog development. And that includes the dog park. And I'm not trying to throw shade on the dog park. If you want to go to the dog park, that's your choice. Do you. But be aware of your dog and your dog's needs, and be aware of the fact that you're putting your dog in a situation where there may not be people educated in dog body language, and some owners may be more involved and aware than others. Just be aware. And if you guys need any more information on this, I'm more than happy to share information. I think it's important. So take care of your dogs. Please make sure that they get some exposure to other dogs, because it's really sad. It's sad that I can't let this dog go in playgroup with the other dogs, because she used to be okay with dogs, and now it's weird. All right, I'm gonna eat my dinner now. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'll talk to y'all later.